California Diary, Jackie Dawson's POV. Tell us something about yourself, sir? The interviewer asked, holding a dictaphone. My name's Jackie Dawson. I'm a 26-year-old businessman managing 3 international office branches, one in America, another in England, and the third in India. Of course, it's my father's business, so I inherited a great deal of power and authority. But let me be clear, I've worked hard to earn my place, I stated confidently. How has the journey been so far, sir? The interviewer asked with curiosity. When my father passed away, I was only 22. I knew nothing about running a business. Thankfully, his loyal employees guided me through the process. With enough patience and practice, I learned to establish my own standards in this business. Today, I'm known for my decisive leadership, and I've taken the company to new heights of success, I replied with pride. D. Dawson has 2 additional branches in England and India. Could you tell us more about them? Well, I visited our office in London, and it's running smoothly. However, I haven't yet been to the Indian office. To be honest, I've been hesitant to go there so far. Having been born and raised in California, it feels a bit out of my comfort zone, I admitted. How was your childhood, sir? My childhood? I paused, exhaling deeply before continuing. My parents divorced when I was 12. My mother fell in love with someone else, while my father was always buried in his work. She wanted me to go with her, but the court granted custody to my father since he was a wealthy businessman who could provide for me, unlike my stepfather, who was just a local supermarket owner. Although my mother let me stay with my father, she loves me unconditionally. She visits me every year. The last time we met was at Christmas. I told her I might not be around this year since I plan to visit India. She wished me love and success. So, we're on good terms now. Everything's fine, I said, nodding rapidly. You mentioned being reluctant to go to India. Is there a particular reason for that, sir? India. Well, I hesitated. I've heard a lot about India and Indians. It's fascinating, but also a bit intimidating. People there speak over 100 languages. I mean, seriously? How's that even possible? I chuckled in disbelief. And their food, spicy. I'm not a fan of upset stomachs, to be honest. I'm quite happy with my hygienic, non-spicy American meals, I added with a bright smile. That does sound daunting. How do you plan to handle it, sir? He asked, laughing along with me. I have no idea how I'll manage. If I go, I'll need to stay for at least a year. Until now, I've been avoiding the trip. But, as they say, you can't escape your destiny. Recently, I heard about an issue in one of the departments there, and they haven't been able to resolve it. So I've finally decided to go, I said, smiling hopefully. So when are you leaving, sir? Tonight. My flight is tonight, and I'm visiting my office here one last time before heading to the airport. So this is my final day in California, I informed him. My driver stopped the car just in front of the D. Dawson building. One last question, sir, he requested. Yes, please, go ahead, I permitted. The name D. Dawson, does it refer to your late father? Yes, you're correct. The D stands for David. It was my father's name, I replied, pressing my lips together to contain my emotions. Well, all the very best, sir. We're excited to see you expand your business into other countries. Thank you for this interview. It will feature in our next issue. I appreciate your valuable time. It was really nice talking to you. And I'm thrilled to have met you in person. Have a pleasant journey, sir, he said, shaking my hand. I nodded with a smile. The pleasure is all mine, I responded. He exited my car and hailed a taxi. My expression instantly shifted to a more serious demeanor. I also stepped out of the car, fastening the last 2 buttons of my jacket. I briefly glanced at the shiny metallic D. Dawson sign on the building, then took a deep breath and entered. As I walked through the main entrance, our receptionist, Stella, stood up from her desk on the left side. Good morning, Mr. Dawson, Stella greeted me. Good morning, I replied with a smirk and a wink. She smiled back and resumed her seat. I know, Stella, you try to catch my attention every time I pass by. You're undeniably attractive, but I don't want to jeopardize your position here because of any unprofessional behavior. She has been working here since before I joined, making her somewhat senior to me. Who knows if my father was ever involved with her? After all, he was quite the charmer. Not blaming you, Dad. Chill. So making a move toward her would be technically inappropriate. I was about to enter the elevator to go to my office on the 7th floor when I heard someone calling from behind. Sir, Mr. Dawson, please wait. I turned to see who it was. Oh, it's you, John. I saw my driver running toward me. John? I asked, puzzled. Sir, sorry to stop you midway, but you left your file on the car seat, he said, breathing heavily as he handed me the file. Oh, thanks, man. This is the Indian office file. I need this. I nodded appreciatively. He smiled and headed back to the car. I entered the elevator and pressed the button for the 7th floor. Upon reaching my floor and stepping out, I saw my assistant discussing next year's targets with the employees. I was really glad to see them working with such dedication. Now I can leave California with peace of mind. I headed toward my office, and all the employees greeted me with "Good morning" as I passed. I responded with a smile. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed my assistant, James, following me toward my office. "Hello, sir," James greeted me. I entered my office and replied, "Hey, James." Taking my seat, I gestured for James to sit across the desk. "So, is everything running smoothly?" I inquired. I was confident everything was fine under James's supervision. "Yes, sir. I've informed the employees about this year's targets, and they've assured me they'll do their best. I also mentioned your visit to our Indian office. They all wished you best of luck," James reported with a smile. Knowing James would stay in touch, I was confident the California office would operate smoothly. "Oh, please convey my thanks to them," I replied playfully. We then delved into the file I had brought, discussing plans for new product launches and marketing strategies. After a few minutes, a gentle knock sounded on the door. "May I come in, sir?" Bob asked, partially opening the door. Both of us turned toward the door. "Yes, come in, Bob," I responded, nodding. "This is for you, sir. The office employees and all of us will miss you," he said, placing a large bouquet on my desk. "Are you all in love with me or what?" I teased. Both Bob and James chuckled. "Thank you, and yes, love you too," I said, winking at him. "Safe travels, sir," he said before leaving. "James, I know you'll handle everything on my behalf, but keep in touch. Send me regular reports via email, okay?" I instructed formally. "Of course, do you doubt that?" he replied casually. "Nope. Okay, come on now. Give me a hug, Blondie. Your friend won't be back for almost a year," I commanded, this time as a friend. He smirked and stood up. We hugged each other tightly, as best friends do. Why not? After all, he was my college mate and best friend. I could trust him with anything, even with my eyes closed. Others didn't know about our friendship because we maintained strict professionalism in the office, especially in front of the employees. He had supported me through thick and thin, so I offered him the job based on his merits. He totally deserved it. However, in the office, employees and colleagues should treat and respect him based on his position, not because he's my friend. That's why we've kept this a secret. So you could say we're strictly professional. All the employees at my London branch office are also like that. I expect the same for my Indian office employees too. "Gonna miss you here, man," he said with a choked voice. "I know," I said, releasing the tight hug. "So tell me every detail when you get there. The office, employees, your journey, the food, and especially the Indian beauties," he added excitedly. "Yeah, right. That'll be my biggest duty in India," I replied sarcastically. After a busy day at the office, I changed into something casual, blue jeans, a white t-shirt, and a denim jacket. I headed toward the elevator after saying goodbyes to all my employees. I entered the elevator and pressed the G button. After a few seconds, it stopped on the 3rd floor. When the door opened, I saw Stella entering the elevator. The door closed, and she approached me with the same seductive look. She leaned in and whispered in my ear, "Have a safe journey, Dawson. Gonna miss you." I smirked. Then she pressed her lips against mine. We kissed until the elevator chimed. Ding! As we broke the kiss, she exited gracefully, reminiscent of a show-stopping model, leaving me standing there, momentarily stunned. A mischievous smile crept across my face as I shook my head in disbelief. Women. I had already arranged for John to pick me up from the office and drop me at the airport. After a final glance at the D. Dawson sign on my office building, I settled into the car and we headed straight to the airport. Following the usual formalities, I exhaled deeply as I took my seat on the plane. I hope India will be a pleasant experience for me. I've heard a lot about it but have never been there. I know India awaits me with many surprises and perhaps some shocks. I chuckled to myself as the flight took off.